stressed again. I need a Coke.
You said you need some Coke?
All right. Here we go.
Thanks for doing this.
Abby Brady, you got this paper out? Yeah. All right, so let's read the problem. And let's fill in anything we can fill in. Remember, before you get started, ultimately, you're going to be drawing a picture. But before we get started, we want to categorize our data. We need to figure out what we are maximizing. And we need to come up with the equations that we're going to graph. So can you get any of that from the problem?
Was I wrong?
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
4 in the first one.
Do what?
The value of A's are 4 and the values of B's are 7. Patrick? Okay. Listen. Patrick says you must do at least 5 questions of type A, but you can't do more than 10. So the fixed interval for A, if we call the number of A questions X and the number of B questions Y, then your fixed interval is from 5 to 10. Patrick's exactly right. X has to be between 5 and 10. And is there a similar thing for Y? In between 3 and 10. All together, you can do no more than 18 questions. So these plus these have to be no more than 18. So one of your equations is x plus y has to be less than or equal to 18. Remember, x is the number of A questions, y is the number of B questions. All together, that has to be less than or equal to 18. How many of each type of question must you do to maximize your score? I want to maximize my score, and how do I calculate that? 4x plus 7y. Perfect. Now, we don't graph this, do we? What do we do this with this? Do you remember? Once you get it graphed and you've got your shape and you have the corners of it, the corner points get plugged in here, and the biggest one wins because we want to maximize, right?
Right.
Okay. So, all right, let's see. All right, so what am I going to graph? I'm going to graph this. Let me get my colors out again. I'm going to graph. I'm going to graph this one, so I'll go ahead and do that.
Bless you.
Now, do you remember how we did this yesterday? How did I suggest you graph?
Zero.
Put in zeros. Now, how many? Okay, I'm probably going to have to let everything be worth 2 again to fit it on. So if I let x be 0, y is 18. I'm letting x be 0, so y is 18. Then I'll let y be 0. And x is 18. And then we connect those with a nice straight line. And then we figure out where we shade. Where do you think that's shaded? Below. So we're shaded right in here. Okay, good. What else do I graph? The fixed intervals need graphs. So I'm going to recopy this over here. I'm going to graph. Oh, my board's so dirty. I'm going to graph all of the x's between 5 and 10. Now remember, my hash marks are worth 2. So this would be 5, and this would be 10. And fixed intervals are graphed as bars. So I have this vertical bar right there. This right here is my fixed interval for this guy, right here. It's all of the x's between 5 and 10. And then my y's, oh, can't even see that one. It's a pretty color, but the board's too dirty. My y's are everything between 3 and 10. So that would be here. To here. And this is where a ruler would really come in handy. I'm just not a very good drawer of straight lines, that's for sure.
I believe in your potential.
I just redrew my line so it was straighter because it's going to make a difference here. Here is the region we're talking about. Now, how do I know that? Well,
Because that's where everything intersects.
exactly. Thank you, Jabron. I have to be below my triangle line. I have to be in between my blue ones and in between my pink ones. So that gives me this area right here. So let's make sure everybody's clear on, okay, the diagonal line. How did I plot that again? I let x be 0 and y be 0, and then I connected them with a straight line. You might want to use a ruler or a note card or something. And then how did I graph this? These fixed intervals. How do these fixed intervals get graphed? Either vertical bars or horizontal bars. And you'll know which one it is. If you say x is 5, don't you count hash marks this way? Aren't your hash marks up and down? So your bars are up and down for x. And your bars are sideways for y. Now, what's the next step? I have to figure out what the points are. Now, some of these points are no-brainers. Look at this point right here. It is on the blue line and the pink line. What does the blue line tell me? X is 5, and this pink line tells me y is 3. So this is the point 5, 3. Now this is the same thing, except this is on this blue line, so this would be the point 10, 3. This one is on this blue line again, but this pink line, so this one is 5, 10. Now these points you ought to be able to get right off your graph pretty easily. Now, these two are a little bit trickier because they're not on vertical horizontal. This is where the red line crosses this pink line. I'm looking at this point right here. The red line is crossing the pink line. Now tell me what we know about this pink line. What do we know?
It's on
The
10.
y is 10. If the y is
17.
10, then the x has to be
On 0.
8.
8.
8.
So this is the point 8, 10.
Wait, how'd you know the x? Oh, because it's in
Because
between.
it's on the red line, and if we know the y is 10, then the x
got
has
you,
to be
got you.
8.
Okay.
Similarly, what do I know about this point?
It's on 10.
The x is 10, which means the y has to be
On fleek.
8. Now we're almost done. What do we do with those 4 points? What do we plug them into? To what we want to maximize. So if we do 5 X's and 3 Y's, now you might need to get your calculator out, I don't know. 5 X's and 3 Y's, that'd be a score of 41. How about 10 X's and 3 Y's? 61?
Yes, sir.
5 and 10. Ooh, my goodness. If you do 5 and 10, you get a 90.
Just got 2 characters. They need trash.
8 and 10, you get 102. And 10 and 8, you get a 96. Patrick.
One of the last we did, we had a substitute. Why?
That was, we were looking for the intersection of two of our lines crossed. Actually, we kind of did that here, because this is the intersection where 2 of our lines are crossing. But when the lines are horizontal or vertical, that makes it super simple. Because you already know, for example, if you're on this vertical line, you already know X is 10, so you can just plug that in. If 2 diagonal lines are intersecting, then you're gonna have to do substitution or elimination. So, after all that work, we're ready to answer the question. The answer to the question is, let's read the question. How many of each type of question must you do, and what is your maximum score? So you will say you should do 8 A's and 10 B's, and your score will be
102.
102.
Where would you put the A's on the table?
Where would you put the what?
Good job, Jabron.
The fact that that goes to 15 minutes is depressing.
No. Remember, the table is only there to help you organize. It isn't necessary. I give it to you to help you organize.
Can you put the 8 and the 10 and for the X and Y on the table?
For what?
The 8 and the 10 for the on the table.
Dude, that's 17 hours.
Oh, when you're all done, you could, yeah. Not till you're done, you can't.
How should we write?
Your answer, you physically write a sentence. I or he or you, whoever's in the problem, should do 8 A's and 10 B's. My score will be 102. That's the answer to the question. Taylor.
Why are there 6 coordinates but 5 dots? Like why?
Why are there 6? 6
Yeah,
what
you are.
again?
Okay, never mind. Never mind. You didn't. Never mind.
You got it?
My
All right, that was your first homework problem. Let's do your second one,
Ms. Ford,
which is on the back side.
how many of these problems will we have on a test?
1.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna do the back side now,
You said our test is a week from today?
a week from today.
Then I have to do
It's a quarter.
Yeah.
265,
Yeah.
Oh, we don't let it.
Okay,
I'll take a 60, all right. Then I'll P1C class.
okay, now we're doing a problem with necklaces and earrings.
Just in the flat, 60 months, 68.
What are you doing? No, put that back up.
What is wrong with you?
I don't have a package.
Katie's drunk. She just fucked everything up. Who has ever just, no one has ever even grabbed that.
Flame up.
I thought this was the pass. It was chill.
Let's get our focus, Matt.
This ain't the pass.
No, that's my corner over there where, like, when teachers retire and whatever, I get something special from their room and keep it so I can remember them all.
Yeah, I just noticed you got all these plaques on the wall. Been out here putting in work.
Had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Okay,
You got
here we
plaques.
go, question 2.
I mean, no, 100.
This is a test question for you, one just like this, so let's pay attention. Each week, Mackenzie can make 10 to 25 necklaces. Stop right there. What is that? Fixed interval for necklaces. So I called X necklaces, so X is going to be between 10 and
With
25.
neck, cause she throwing weight.
Now,
10 to
in a little
25.
while, I'm going to graph that.
She throwing work.
And when I graph it, since it's a fixed interval, it's going to be a bar, right? Some kind of bar, just a bar of points. Okay, Mackenzie can make 15 to 20 earrings.
That's a fixed interval.
That is, that's why earrings, and it's 15 to 40. If she earns profit, and this should, I should say profit here instead of value. If she can earn profit of $3 on each pair of earrings and $5 on each necklace, and she plans to sell at least 30 pieces of jewelry. Where do I put the 30?
In the total for.
That's the total number that she's gonna make, right? The total number total 30. How can she maximize profit?
Can I go up to the board and do this?
What is my profit equation going to be?
X plus Y equals 30.
No,
Oh, profit?
5x
5x plus
plus
3.
5x plus 3y. This is how she's going to figure out how much money she makes.
I will slap you.
When we know how many necklaces we have and how many earrings we have, we can figure out how much money.
You gonna knock me out?
Now, what am I graphing?
X plus Y equals 30.
X plus Y is less than or equal to 30. You are exactly right. Maybe this time we'll make each one of our grids worth what? 2? We can go with, maybe we ought to go with 3. Want to go with 3?
We got 40.
We got 40. All right, let's go with 5. Let's go with 5. So, we're going with 5. Okay, so here we go. If X is 0, Y is 30. These are 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. If Y is 0, X is 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So now I'm going to connect that with a straight line. And where will that be shaded? Less, below.
X. So it's 20.
What else am I graphing? You are exactly right. That needed graph.
Or just other than.
I've got to graph my fixed intervals, right?
Oh, that's the total range. Gotcha. That's
So I'll do this one in red. X is between 10 and 25. So X is between 10 and 25. My board is such a disaster, I hate to even mark it up more. We're in between this, right? So right now, we're looking at this area. We have to be below the black and in between the reds. Okay? Now, what else do I need to graph?
Oh, the other one.
The other one. So I need to graph this one. So that's y is 15 to 40. So here's my y and here's my y.
Like those lines, these ones, what's up to 40? You have to make sure it goes up.
Well, that's where the pink line is, up there at 40. Just draw your lines off the page. Just draw them off the page. They're lines, they go on forever and ever. But none of that really matters, Abby, if you're paying attention to what's going on here, because you have to be between the pink, between the red, and below the black. Well, where is that? It's only this little triangle right here. This is the only space we're talking about. This is the only area we have that is below black, in between red, and in between pink.
This is for,
Mhm.
it says at least 30, so should it be greater?
Oh, wait a minute. That's gonna change everything.
Dang it.
It does.
think I said
Thank
that
you
can I get
very much, Katie and Ethan, and anybody else that was involved with
You
that
feel me?
conversation.
He really be open his mouth,
This
but he really
needs
don't
to
need
be a greater than 30.
to. 54%, Ethan. That's me.
Read the
It's barely over
question.
half. You give me 100 questions, I get 54 right. Individual smart ass mouth.
Read the question. It says at least.
I like you, Ethan, but sometimes stepping out your lane.
That's gonna
On the
change where I
highway,
shade.
I will wreck you.
Where am I going to be shaded now? Wait, stop. We have to do a little repair work here. We're shaded in between pink and in between red. But now we're not below the black, we are above it. So we gotta be in between the pink and the red and above the black. So I'm thinking now we have this guy. What do you think? No, that's not right. You gotta be in, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's right. You
In
gotta be above
between
the
here,
triangle, yeah.
in between here, okay, yeah.
That's good.
All right, so now I need to find those points. Some of them are really easy. For example, this one, very easy to find, right? Tell me about this point. What is its x? 10, and what is its y? 40. We got 10, 40. How about this one? 25, 40.
You know what's disrespectful?
How about this one? 25, 15. Now we got a couple that are a little bit harder, but not hard. See this point right here? It is on a horizontal line. That means its y is 15. If you put 15 in for y, what do you get for x? 15. So this is the point 15, 15. Now, likewise, this one. He's on a vertical line. What do you know about this point? X is 10, which means y has to be 20. This is on the horizontal line 15. Y is 15. That means x has to be 15. This is what I was talking about with Patrick. When you've got horizontal and vertical lines, you automatically know one of your coordinates. All right, now what happens? Plug them in. And what am I plugging them into? So I make a list over here. I have 10, 40. You might need a calculator. You can do these in any order, obviously.
I do, but I don't. Once, like, this is actually the hardest part.
All right, so here we go, 10, 40. Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna mess around finding that one.
What?
Because isn't this one automatically gonna be bigger?
Yeah.
I mean, if you make only 10 necklaces, that's not gonna be as big as if you make 25.
That's the biggest one.
Well, I
No.
don't know, so I do the values, it's the most necklaces, but let's see. 25 times
I mean,
5
it's
is,
the necklaces and the ones.
125,
That's definitely the biggest, Miss Ford.
and 40 is 120. Did you get 245?
Yep. Yep.
We can stop there.
This one is definitely smaller than this one. What about 25? Oh, 2515, that'll be smaller, won't it?
Yeah, Miss Ford, they're all
How
small.
about 1020?
Miss Ford, they're all
If you are totally confident, because you're using your logic, that that's gonna be the biggest one, that's okay. Unfortunately, if it's not the biggest one, then you'll miss the question. So make sure you're confident in your logic. So what's the answer? What do we say? We write a sentence that says, she should make 25 necklaces and 40 pairs of earrings.
Yeah.
If she does that, her profit will be $245. Okay? Now, let's look at the next one. We'll go ahead and get this one started. Your homework tonight is the next two problems, which, let's make sure you're clear. One of them has to do with mowing and pruning, and the other one has to do with brochures and flyers.
So we can walk around and check.
Now, I don't know how much time we have, but Gibran has been dying to come up. So why don't you come up, Gibran, and let's start the mowing and pruning problem. We'll go ahead and start this.
No, this is. Where's the mowing?
This is our homework problem. We're getting ready to start the first one. Everybody should be working on this.
I have never had so much hate towards somebody.
I thought you were gonna
that's
say
not
me.
directed toward me, Maya Brownlow.
We have a love-hate relationship, mostly hate, but.
She said towards her.
Oh, not you. I would never.
Okay, Gibran, let's see how far you can get.
Oh, I'm gonna get it all the way. 100 yards, touchdown.
I was really prepared for quiz today. Yes, I was. If you see on your video, it has 2 views. One of those views are mine. I'm not joking.
It's never like my face. It's always just like
It's
my
here and
hand
that
get dry
I
on
was
my
listening to your
elbow.
voice.
Good evening, class.
Ooh,
Prepare
get
to
off the stage.
Let's do the question, which I cut off. Well, we have crews who mow and lawn, or mow lawns and prune shrubs.
He's a good unique.
Company schedules 1 hour for most. Hello. Schedules. Okay, it says it schedules 1 hour for moving jobs and 3 hours for pruning jobs. So that would be the hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Each crew is scheduled no more than 2 pruning jobs per day.
Miss Ford, did you have to blink about these problems?
And then
Blink, don't blink if you're gonna check them. Alrighty then. Well, everybody do your homework.
each crew's schedule is set up for a maximum of 9 hours per day.
I mean, Jabron, jeez. I'm
I
gonna have to bring my
love
walker back in
what
here by the
I'm
time you're
seeing,
done.
Gibran, good.
Can you be quiet?
I'm gonna bring my walker in by the time you get done. I'm gonna be 80 years old.
You keep talking, maybe if you write down, your hands aren't moving.
You know
Maybe
what?
if you write this down. On average, the charge for mowing is $40. Charge for pruning, shrubbery is $120. pruning is kind of deep on the pockets. Find the combination of mowing lawns and pruning shrubs that will maximize the income.
Is that 40 or 46?
40, sorry.
You working on math. You would take on
40. And then the number, it doesn't say the number of credits.
I guess it's registration.
Okay, so, all right, now,
Is that 9 or 8?
I would say up here at the top, I would write X equals the number of mowing jobs and Y was
What are you doing?
I'm writing it up to myself to do my freaking homework.
well, I think of this on the
what are we All right, we gotta start on it. Your homework.
make sure someone reminds me where we leave off. We'll continue this tomorrow in class. Make sure you do your homework tonight. It will be checked. Problems 2, 4, and 6.
Will be checked.
Evens in the workbook. Odds in the textbook.
Thomas, are we off? No, all that's on video.
Can I come in tomorrow?